remembering. So I'm recording. It is our Zoom call on Sunday, September 20th, with Alissa Gibson talking about creating challenge groups that work. And I think most of you guys are familiar and love and adore Alissa like I do. But in case you don't know Alissa, she is one of our diamond coaches, and she just achieved Success Club All-Star. Which means she hit Success Club for 12 months consecutively, which is amazing. And she lives in Winona, Minnesota, which is kind of by La Crosse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wisconsin, Minnesota. If you're not, it's right on the Mississippi River. It's really, really pretty. And she is mama of 4 kiddos and graphic designer at a local bank by day, Beachbody coach by night, and she also teaches PIO, and she also runs her own design business, making like wedding invitations and all sorts of cool stuff, and has an Etsy shop. And she's pretty much like super mom extraordinaire because she does a lot and does it really, really well. And I'm so excited to hear what she's going to share with us tonight about creating challenge groups that work. And I know that she is sharing some of her takeaways from a summit presentation that we were lucky enough to attend in Nashville, creating challenge groups that work. But I'm sure that she slid in some of her own expertise as well. So I can't wait to hear from her, and I'm just going to turn it over to hear her and see what she has to share with us. So Nicole says she's going to call in. I'm sorry, Nicole, that stinks. We won't see your face, but we'll know you're there. So I will go ahead and mute myself, and then can you screen share from your computer, Alissa?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay. First of all, thank you. You have such nice things to say. So I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary with Beachbody. Actually, October of 2013 is when I joined as a discount coach, and then really started kind of working the business. It wasn't until about 4 months later. So but I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary, so that's really exciting. And like Jess said, this was one of our summit workshops in Nashville this year. And it was probably the one that I took the most away from, just because challenge groups are such a big part of what I do and what probably most of you do in order to attract new customers and eventually adding coaches to your teams and things like that. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see here. Hopefully you guys can see. Can you guys see that? Sorry, I should start from the beginning. 1 second. Okay, we're good? Okay, so like Jess said, we are going to talk about creating challenge groups that work. And not only creating challenge groups that work, but also turning customers from those challenge groups into coaches. So the perfect challenge group. And I think you'll all agree that when you think about your perfect challenge group and your perfect challengers, they're engaged. It's not like pulling teeth to get them to comment on your posts or like things or encourage each other. Those groups have really good energy. You're just excited to check in with them every day. They kind of have a lot of fun. They feed off one another. And because of those things, I think in those challenge groups where they're more engaged in the high energy, the results are there. So that, again, it's kind of like a cycle. They are seeing results, whether it be weight loss or inches or just feeling better in general. And lastly, those challengers, because they're having such success, are wanting to pay it forward. So in the end, those are the people that you can probably reach out to and present the coaching opportunity to. So as you are tracking with customers and with prospects, you want to make sure you're communicating the value of the challenge group. You're helping people change their lives, you're growing a business, you're building those relationships. And again, a lot of times from those challenge groups, you get repeat customers, or you get customers who are going to refer other challengers to you. Challenge groups are very duplicable. So I don't know about you, but when I schedule my posts, a lot of times I'm running the same challenge group the last time as when I did the 21 Day Fix group the last time. You're adding in little flares here and there because, maybe this time you're mixing up a pumpkin spice Shakeology or something. So you're adding in those little seasonal or timely posts that are not pre-planned, but a lot of what you're doing is something that you can do from time to time, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And again, obviously groups equal accountability equals success. And I think we all can agree with that. And we hear that from our challengers. We know it from experience. That's just a proven fact. So obviously one of the 3 vital behaviors is invite, invite, invite. So when you're inviting people to your challenge groups, there's lots of different challenge groups that you can run. And this is not an exhaustive list, but you can do a free challenge or a clean eating free challenge. People really like that, and that's a really good way to get people in your door, so to speak. So people also get comfortable that way with how you run your challenge groups. They find that they like the private Facebook group atmosphere, so that's just a really good way to kind of get people's feet in your door. You can run a 3-day refresh challenge group. I have done one of those. Sherry and I actually did one together, and it was the first time I'd ever done it, and it was actually a lot of fun. It's short. People don't tend to lose interest with those shorter groups. So, it's a lot easier to keep them engaged for 3, it probably ended up being a week total with the prep beforehand and the follow-up stuff afterwards. But it's a lot easier to keep them engaged for that short period of time. A 6-day I do a 7-day Shakeology group, actually, and I've done that a number of times. I've probably run it maybe 5 times over the last year. And, each time I've done that, I've gotten between 1 and 3 Shakeology HD customers. A lot of people are really hesitant to spend $130, as you probably know, on a month of Shakeology. And the way I run this challenge group, and you can do it however works for you, but I charge a fee and they pay me through PayPal, or if they're local, they can, write me a check and just give it to me. I give them a shaker cup, and I give them 6 packets of Shakeology, and it's a 7-day group. So the first 2 days we drink half a packet of Shakeology, and then the last 5 days they drink a full packet. And we share recipes, and we kind of at the beginning of the group we gauge people's energy levels, just kind of how they're feeling overall, and then again at the end we kind of assess, and they talk about the differences and if they've noticed any changes in again, like energy. Some people do lose a little weight just doing that 1 week of Shakeology, but that's again a really good way for people to try Shakeology for a pretty low investment without having to shell out $130 right off the bat. Obviously, 21-day fitness groups with the 21-day fix. This is a really good length. That's actually my favorite length to do. You do your week of prep, and it ends up being about a month. So everybody probably knows a lot about those. And then just a general accountability group. And you can do those any number of ways. You can have people doing whatever program they want. You can, I've seen recently people doing like Fitbit challenges where they check in every day and compare steps, or maybe they connect, through the Fitbit app or whatever. But just general accountability, I think having that group support is really, really important for people, and it really helps them see success, and that's what we want in the end. So step 1, where to start. The first thing you want to do is set a date for your challenge. And what I've started doing is actually planning out a month. And so I know when I'm going to have my challenge groups, and I put on my calendar the date of the start date of the challenge group. And then I also put on my calendar the dates that I'm going to promote the challenge group, so that I'm not feeling like all I'm posting on either my personal page or my like page is challenge group promos, because I hate feeling like that. I feel like people are sick of it. They've already heard it all, so I kind of pepper those a couple of weeks throughout I actually do 2 weeks prior to kind of the drop dead date for ordering. So it actually ends up being about 3 weeks before the start of the challenge group. But that gives people a little time to get their challenge packs ordered, to ask any questions, kind of have that dialogue back and forth. And then obviously when you're inviting, you want to invite with a good mixture of personal messages. So again, you can do that on Facebook, email, text messages, whatever, your communication channel is with someone. Again, those social media posts, whether it be on your like page or your personal profile. Events on Facebook I have not done, but I know some coaches do have success with setting up an actual event on Facebook and inviting people that way. So that's just another way to promote your challenge group. Step 2, getting to know your prospect. And again, you want to have a conversation with them. It's an open dialogue. You're asking those questions to see, where you can fill that need for them. It's not, I'm only at Success Club 1 and I need to get to 5 by the end of the month. You're finding out about them, finding out, again, like what kind of time that they have for workouts. If they say they're short on time, that's great. We have a lot of workout programs that are 30 minutes or even a little bit less. Just kind of, again, asking those leading questions and finding out where they're at, finding out their goals, their limitations. A lot of times we hear things like, I've got back pain or my joints, or, so those will be cues for certain programs that you'll want to listen to when you're talking with someone. Just because you have a 21-day fix challenge group coming up, that doesn't mean that the 21-day fix is going to be a perfect fit for everybody out there. So you just want to make sure that you're doing a good job of listening to their struggles and the things that they are having a hard time with, and kind of filling that need. And again, listening for those limitations. Like I was saying earlier, they might not have time. They haven't felt the support in the past. They're not in shape. So maybe they want a program that's really suited more for a beginner. Low on money. A lot of times, that's a limitation of a gym membership, is that it's not inexpensive. Whereas, they might not be able to afford a challenge pack, but maybe somebody can get the DVDs for $50 or $60, and that will, they'll have those forever then. And follow through. A lot of times people just, they're done with it. So that's really one of the benefits of participating in a challenge group for them, is that you're there to help them and to see them through that program. Step 3, relate and match. So again, you want to listen to your customer that you're talking to. And for those of you who haven't heard about Feel, Felt, Found, I know there was a Rockstar call that maybe we can dig up and share, where Amanda Dewey talked about the Feel, Felt, Found. And I think it was a whole call on that. It's a really great practice to use because people want to know that you've been through what they're going through, and it's just a really great transition for getting to the bottom of, if someone's saying no for some reason, it helps you get to the bottom of why they're saying no and what their hesitations are. So the transition, if they're interested, is helping them find a program, and I touched on that a little bit, with not just plunking them into the 21-day fix just because that's the group you have going, but finding the right match for them, because again, you want them to have success, and by getting them in the right program, that will help them to see that success. And again, confirming their order. I always check in the back office because things get goofy. Even if you send them a link and they follow it, sometimes it still gets assigned to a random coach. And so just confirming that their order went through. And a lot of times I just ask people to email me or to send me a message or something when they've placed their order, so that I know that, maybe the next day I can go in and check it in the back office. If they are not interested in your challenge group, if it's something that the timing isn't right, or maybe they don't have the money right now, let them know, or ask them, is it okay if I follow up with you in a couple of months, or, follow up later down the road? And if they say yes, make sure you do. I think that's one of the things that really a lot of people struggle with, is actually that following up. It gets to be a couple months down the road, and you're working with different people, and you kind of lose those people. But if you keep good notes, and if you keep a good organized contact system, it'll be easy to follow up with those when you said you would. So then for those who are joining your challenge group, you want to get them excited and start them in a group as soon as you can. Sometimes it's a couple of weeks. Like if someone orders a week or two after you've already started a group, they might have to wait a little bit. But what I like to do is then just kind of message them back and forth and see if they have any questions once they get their kit, or, encourage them if they want to get started before the group, that's fine. And just try to kind of do a little support of them before the group is actually up and running. Okay, so step 4 is rules of engagement. So you want to set the expectations up front for your challengers. And some examples for them include telling them to check the pinned post on the challenge group daily. And I don't always utilize that just because I know a lot of my challengers are checking it on their phones. So if you do use the pin post function, which is nice because then, the post of the day gets pinned to the top and they don't have to kind of struggle through finding the daily post. Just remind them that on their phone, they'll have to actually click on the very top where it says view pinned post. So that would just be a pointer that you'd want to give to your challengers if you are using a pinned post, is just knowing that on a phone, it doesn't appear. They actually can't see it until they click on view pinned post. Encourage them to create their workout schedule for the week. And I just did this in one of my groups, and I asked them to share it with me. And I asked them to either, take a picture of their planner or their calendar and let me know what time they're working out, or to just type it in the comments and let me know when they had their workout scheduled. And again, I reminded them that those workouts are like an appointment that they don't want to cancel. Remind them to drink their Shakeology every day. And sometimes we have challengers who maybe didn't buy the challenge pack, so they're not drinking Shakeology. And what I do is I don't change my posts at all. I continue to post about Shakeology as though everyone's drinking it. And a lot of times by the end of the challenge, those challengers are interested in trying Shakeology. They've been hearing the other challengers talk about it and rave about it and talk about the results. So I don't necessarily change the tone of those posts just because everybody in the group isn't always drinking it. So encourage them to eat those 4 to 6 planned meals every day. We talk a lot about meal planning in my groups and the importance of doing that and sitting down and actually writing out what you're going to eat for the week. Ask them to track and share their progress. So usually I do that weekly with a check-in post. I ask them to share any changes on the scale that they've seen in the last week. And then I also ask them to share something else. Like sometimes it's sharing a non-scale victory or sharing something that they did great over the last week and something that they can improve on in the coming week. So again, just having them check in with their progress. Asking them to share their daily health and fitness activities. A lot of times I encourage them to share a sweaty selfie. Again, these are all just ways to get them to post in the group so that it's not just you and you. Like, that's no fun, right? So, and again, you want to be present to encourage your challengers. So don't just auto-schedule your posts at 6 in the morning and not check in at all until 6 o'clock the next morning. You want to be interacting, of course, with your business hours in mind, but I do like to go in throughout the day too when I have a chance and just like things if other challengers have posted in the group, just to kind of let them know that I'm in there. And again, reminding them to take baby steps towards their goal. They're not probably going to lose their entire weight loss goal in the first week. But just be encouraging the whole process. Step 5, keeping your challengers motivated. So again, this kind of goes back to those challenge groups that can get quiet. So we want to have active groups as often as we can. I know sometimes it just is the way it is. I just finished up a challenge group that was, I don't know, so quiet. And then I have one going now that's awesome. And I feel like I could leave the group and they wouldn't even notice. They're awesome. So, but again, create those daily posts. Most of the time what I do is I schedule at least one post on Sunday nights. I'll schedule for the week and I'll schedule it for first thing in the morning. And that'll be my scheduled post, and then I'll check in later in the day with something that I'm eating or a reminder on drinking water or something like that. So it's a little bit, again, like I was saying, a little bit more timely. It's actually me today. It's not me from 4 months ago or whatever. But including a call to action is always good. Like, here's my dinner. What are you guys having? And then, for the 21-day fix, for example, I often ask them to include the container calculations. So again, just getting them involved. Lead by example and stay consistent. Again, you want to show them that you're working out too. So whether or not, I'm often not doing just the 21-day fix if I'm running a 21-day fix group, but whether or not I'm doing that, I can still take a picture of myself after my workout. And they really have no idea if I was doing Dirty 30 or if I was doing PIO. And they don't need to know. Just lead by example and let them know that you're sweating with them. Create fun themes. And I'm not great at this, but I do have, for the 21-day fix groups that I run, and I talk about those a lot because they're the ones that I do the most of. But I do have 1 week out of the 3 where I always have a theme week where I ask them to post. It is a Motivation Monday, but I ask them to go out and maybe it's just an image of themselves working out, or maybe it's a motivating quote or something. But for that week, I do a theme day. And I think 1 week out of the 3 is about enough for me and my challengers, but you could do that for all 3 weeks. And then they would kind of get used to, okay, it's Motivation Monday or it's Flex Friday. So I'm ready to post that picture. But those are kind of fun, just ways to get them involved. Again, it's a little different. I know some people do point systems. I tried that once and it kind of bombed for me, but I know people have had luck where they get points for, a sweaty selfie or a food picture or a recipe, or, you kind of assign different points for different types of posts. And at the end, whoever has the most points wins something, a shaker cup or, something like that. That's exciting for them. So those are options for kind of creating some fun in the challenge groups. When you do ask them to check in with their weekly stats, of course, celebrate those, encourage it. I like to comment or reply to comments on everybody if I can, and just encourage them and, keep them going. Personally follow up with those that fall off. I actually did that today. I followed up with each of my challengers and I heard back from probably half of them. And sometimes they're too busy to check in with the group, but it's good for you to check in with them and just make sure that they don't have any questions or any issues or anything, that they're still enjoying the workouts. If they have any Shakeology questions, things like that, just to kind of touch with them in a more personal, private way. Sometimes people aren't comfortable posting their questions in a group setting. So I try to do that once a week, but I'm not always the best at that either. So that's something I could definitely improve on. And again, creating the value around Shakeology. And I kind of touched on that a little bit in terms of, posting about it in the groups and reminding them of their ship date. That's something really, really nice to do. I do generally a blanket reminder, like a week or so into the challenge, and just say, hey, just a reminder, your Shakeology will ship again a month after your order date. If you have any questions about when that is, let me know. If you need to make changes to it or cancel, just a nice reminder for them, because they may not remember when they ordered, or they may not remember that it's going to auto ship, and they might want to make a change to the flavor, or they might want to put it on hold depending on what they think of it. So just kind of giving that reminder to them is a nice bonus in the challenges. So next, talking a little bit about inspiring your challengers to become coaches. And I can't remember the statistic exactly, but there's a really high percentage of diamond coaches who were challengers first. So this is where you're going to find a lot of your coaches, to be honest, is in your challenge groups. So you want to identify the standouts, and who they are, I'm sure, because they're the ones that are posting without you asking. They're maybe encouraging the other challengers. They're just kind of naturals at doing what you're doing in the group. Highlight their results and give them shout outs. Encourage and thank them with personal messages. I like to reach out and say, hey, I loved your post today. That was awesome, et cetera. Just kind of a random personal message in Facebook, just to kind of let them know that I'm seeing what they're doing. straight up ask them, have you ever considered doing what I'm doing? Or have you ever considered becoming a coach on my team? I'd love to have you. You're already doing what I'm doing. I get that a lot from people where they're literally, I'm not doing anything different than what they're doing in the groups. And I know that there's a stigma out there that being a coach and running the challenge groups is this hard work. But, if you kind of explain to them, it's really no different than what you're doing now. That's one way to kind of encourage them to think about it as well. And offering up what's next. If you've got another challenge group running, or sometimes you've got maybe a coach sneak peek or something that you want to invite them to. That's kind of a good segue into something like that for those potential coaches. Challenge group spinoffs. So towards the end of your challenge groups, it's good to ask your challengers, what they want to do next. Some of them want to do another round, and generally I let my challengers continue with as many rounds as they want, as long as they're drinking Shakeology. Do they want to change it up? Some people maybe have done a couple of rounds of something and they want to try another program. This is a good opportunity for you to introduce them to something else. Maybe their weight loss has plateaued and they need to confuse their body a little bit and try something new. This is a good opportunity to do that. Again, suggesting that they become a coach and offering that you'll co-lead a challenge group with them. I think people are scared too to run groups on their own at first. So offering right away that you can run a group together on your first challenge can be really helpful. And the fourth option is not my favorite, but a lot of people are just willing to gracefully bow out. Either they feel like they have the tools to continue on their own, or maybe the challenge group setting just wasn't for them and they don't want to continue on, and that's okay too. I mean, it's not for everybody, but that's obviously the fourth and final option. So I tried to talk really fast so that we would have time for questions. And I don't know if you want me to stop sharing, or I don't know what I need to do here. Stop share. There we go. Oh, I can't hear anybody. Oh.
Awesome info. I love it. I took notes.
Good. If you guys want, I can share the presentation. It's just on Google, so I can share it in our group if you didn't have. I tried to go fast just because I didn't want to take up all your time.
Can you guys have questions for us?
And I'm hoping too that those of you that were at Summit will jump in if there's a question. I
have a question. I guess I have those standout challengers that would do awesome, and they're just really reluctant or hesitant to become a coach. I've heard a lot of not right now, when things slow down a little bit. I mean, in the near future, like towards the end of fall. I guess just for those people, do you have any recommendations to help nudge them a little bit?
I have a lot of those people too, and I have a lot of them who I just kind of continue to check in with them maybe every month, and I don't always check in and say, hey, are you still thinking about joining my team? I just kind of keep the communication channel open and, just chat about whatever, something that they posted on Facebook recently, or asking them about, hey, how did this start of the school year go for your kids? Or, just kind of, again, keep talking with them. I've also had several people who were fence sitters on becoming a coach for a long time. And then, just for whatever reason, one day just said, hey, okay, I'm ready to sign up now. So I would say just to keep communicating with them.
Well, I have one actually that continues on in the challenge groups and helps lead them kind of with her posts, but she just doesn't want to take the plunge, I guess, yet.
Yeah, maybe asking her, and maybe you have, but maybe asking her what's making her hesitate. If it's, if it's running the challenge groups, or if it's, just what it is, and finding out, and then maybe you can kind of.
Yeah, I guess I haven't directly asked her. I think at first it was timing because she's a teacher and she wanted to get into her school groove. And then I'm just kind of waiting I don't want to be on top of her. Are you ready now?
Right.
So, okay, thank you.
That's what
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Alyssa, is ask her why.
Mm-hmm.
I think just be like,
Which I have a hard time doing too,
I
but
know. Feels awkward, but if you say, can I ask what's holding you back? Then you have a chance to overcome her objection because she's like, I just feel like it's going to suck up 7 hours of my day every day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm afraid to run challenge groups on my own. And then you can be like, you don't have to. And this is how it works, you know? So sometimes I feel like people, if you can get to what's holding them back, you can talk them through it without being pushy. But
I agree. Oh, there was a question in the chat, I think. Let's see.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can hear me. Well, I typed a whole bunch in, but I guess the first one was, so I'm doing just like a general group right now, so lots of different programs. And if people want to do another program, do you guys have another? I mean, if I try to duplicate this one again, they're going to get the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we listened to a call with Melissa McAllister at some point, and she said she's got a lot of people who will do her challenges over and over, and it's the same thing. And she's like, if they want to do it again, they're going to see the same stuff. I'm going to use the same content. So
Okay.
that was kind of her take on it. So I've kind of taken that approach too. And again, like I said, I kind of throw in the, maybe once a day where I throw in what I'm eating for dinner or something from that day that's not planned.
Yeah.
So that changes it up a little bit too.
And then my other question was, for people that might want to change it up and do a new program, do they buy another challenge pack? And then would they have to cancel the current one?
Yeah. So if they're drinking Shakeology, a lot of times it makes the most sense to buy another challenge pack because, it's usually a better deal. So then, I would walk them through I would have them order the new one and then have them call customer service and cancel the other one so that they don't get it twice.
Okay. So they can.
But if they don't want to do that, they can just buy just the program or whatever. But a lot of times for my customers, it's made the most sense just to buy a second challenge pack.
Okay.
If they're going to continue drinking Shakeology.
Okay.
Or they could become a coach.
Yeah.
You get it at a discount.
Okay, I'll ask another question.
Yeah.
And I guess I know you said you didn't do Facebook events, so I'm just wondering if anybody has, and if there are like pros to doing it that way, or if you found that there's something that you get from it doing it that way versus just messaging or posting.
Has anybody done an event that's on the call? I've got a friend who's a Beachbody coach through a different, team or whatever. And I see her doing events and I don't know if she does it just because people can share events or people can invite people. Mm-hmm. I guess I've never been in one, so I don't know how she does it, if she runs the whole challenge group through the event or if she just shares the information about the challenge group in the event. And then, so I'm not sure how she does it, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like personally, I always, and anyone who's ever invited me to something via a Facebook event can attest to this, I always miss them. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never see it. And then I'm like, damn it, I was supposed to go to some candle party or something like last night and I didn't see it. I'm just really bad with them. So to me, it has not been something that I have tried because I personally don't find them very effective. But I know that some people just think it like feels like a party and then people can share it with their friends and then people can see that people are going and it creates some excitement and momentum. So I definitely know that there are coaches who do it and it's really effective just for me because I don't ever notice them when I'm invited to something. I've never tried it, but I don't know. It's not something we do a lot on our team. So maybe somebody in here has tried it though. Mandy's got something to add.
I tried the event thing, but really like running an ad using the event for a challenge group coming up, and I got a huge response out of it, more so than like promoting a challenge post. But I think I need to work on the wording, because most people that like they joined the event, but then they were like, then I have to reach out to them and friend them because they don't know me, and then tell them what it's all about. And they're like, oh, sorry, I don't have, I didn't know I had to pay for something. So I think I might try it again, but just to make sure that I word it clearly so people know up front, like, hey, this is something you have to purchase. It's not like a free group or whatever. That's it.
And I can ask my friend too what she does. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Can you tell me more about create call to action?
So really what I meant by that was just, asking them to do something. So maybe you're posting a picture of yourself after a workout and you ask them to post theirs too.
Okay.
Or you ask them a question, or, just kind of asking them to get engaged and involved.
Mm-hmm.
Being kind of direct about it.
There's like a create call to action thing on like your like page. Has anybody ever used that before?
I think mine is like shop, and it brings people to my Beachbody website or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm afraid to push it.
Yeah. But you know what? Your page will give you insights as far as how many clicks it's ever gotten and stuff. I think mine's gotten like 2 clicks ever. So
okay.
It's not a big draw for my page.
Okay.
You can do it though. It's not going to charge you any money or anything.
Okay. Let's be curious. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask another question.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how I'm interested in doing like the 7-day Shakeology challenge. And you said that you collect the money through PayPal or checks. So then essentially
Mm-hmm.
buying all of that product yourself, and then just how you calculating the cost per person, and then how does that work?
Yeah. So basically, yes, I buy the sample packs, and those challenge groups usually have a much earlier deadline for committing than the other ones, because I have to order. I may have enough of the sample packs on hand, but a lot of times I'll have to order. And I generally, what I do is I create a Google form, and I ask them to sign up using the Google form. So right in there, I ask for their name, their address, which flavor of Shakeology they want to try, so that I've kind of got an inventory. And I don't know if you guys have used Google Forms, but it dumps all that information into a Google Sheet. So then you've got it, who's committed, and then you can add them to your challenge group and kind of get it set up and give them instructions for either paying you by PayPal, or some people have mailed me checks too, but usually checks I just get from local people who will see me around town or whatever. So,
and then you do the shipping, like the cost to ship it to them within what does it usually end up being per person?
I usually charge $35.
Okay.
And it's not like a huge moneymaker for me. But again, I've gotten quite a few customers that way. So in the end, it's worked out where, I come out ahead, but usually $35. And, I'm kind of guessing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know who I'm all shipping to. And some people I can just deliver again around town, and I charge those people the same.
Okay.
So
what do you include with your Shakeology packets? Do you do the packets, and what do you include? Like recipes or a little letter, or?
Yeah, I usually do the packets and a shaker cup, and then recipes. And that's about it. Yeah, and those are nice too, because again, it's a short group. People are engaged for a week, and then it's over, and it's easy follow-up. What did you think? Are you thinking you want to continue on with a month supply? Gosh, I should do one of those again. It's been a while, but they have been successful for me.
I just had a quick question. When you do the 6 packets, do you offer them their choice of flavors, or do you limit them? Do you give them all? Can you just expand on that?
I do. I give them a choice, and But typically I don't give them every choice. Like I don't say chocolate vegan, chocolate strawberry. I usually give them a choice of chocolate, greenberry, strawberry maybe, or I let them choose the choice to have like a combination. So then they'd get 2 of each. And you could do, those are probably my 3 favorites. So if I've got leftover packets, I can consume them. That's really the reason for that. But if people want to try other kinds, if they're like, oh, I really thought vanilla would be good. I haven't really had a lot of those special requests. People are usually happy to choose one of those options. So yeah, I have that right in the form though. And so when they register, when they sign up, they fill that out. I'm not a vanilla fan. I know, I've tried it a lot. I might try the pumpkin recipe though. We'll see. Even though I'm not a huge pumpkin fan either. Maybe the 2 together will be. I know, Jess, I'm so sorry.
Our friendship's over. I'm sorry.
Done.
I did not like vanilla for a long time, and it has finally grown on me. I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But
Keep trying it.
I don't know, girl.
I don't hate it. I don't seek it out, I guess.
Would you at all be willing to share your Google form? So just
yeah, absolutely. I will make a note to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I gotta find a clean sheet of paper here. It's pretty basic, and what I do actually is I use the same one every time. So because I created a short bit.ly link where I think it's called Alyssa's 7-Day Shakeology or something. So I actually I changed the date in the form, and then so I have all the people who have ever done it with me in one spreadsheet, which is kind of nice too. So, and those free groups too, that's not really a free group, but it's a shorter group. That's not a fitness challenge. Those are good places too to promote your upcoming fitness challenge groups too. Because again, now they've gone through a week of your challenge group style, and if they enjoyed it, they may want to, especially if they're considering Shakeology, they can get a workout program for not much more than that cost. So. Anybody else?
Gary, how's your quiet group? Has it gotten any better?
Oh, that's the worst.
It's the worst. I just wrapped one up today. I was like,
you just can't wait for them to end.
I know, it's been torture in there.
My size group was that way. I was super bummed because size is so fun. They were just really quiet
for
some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Any other questions? Thanks you guys for having me.
Thank you for speaking on the call. I'm just going to peek in the chat box in case people missed anything in there. Let's see. We talked about that. Let's see. Bridget says, for someone who's in the group, I think this was for Kristen, tell her she's already doing your job and can make some money doing it. It's true. That's a good call. We talked about Facebook events. Yeah, Sherry, if you and Mandy do a Facebook event for Max 30, let us know how it goes. And then Sherry,
I'll ask my friend what she does with
her, because I'd be curious.
Yeah.
Sherry says for her call to action, she uses a Google form to ask questions on what they might be interested in, and that's definitely a great idea. So the call to action button on your like page, I don't have anything in mind, which is probably bad. So, and then, yeah, that's about it. Does anybody else have any questions? Alissa, thank you so much. That was good info. I appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
And if you guys think of anything, just post it below the recording, and Alyssa's going to get us her Google form and check in with her friend on how the Facebook event works for her.
Mm-hmm.
Did I cover it all?
She's part of Janelle Summers' downline, so I guess I would be interested to see how they do use it, because they might be promoting it as a way to run the
Exactly. I'd be curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it is late, and I know everybody's tired, so thank you so much, Alissa. We appreciate you being on here tonight.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And we will connect soon, guys, okay? Have a great week. All right,
Bye.
good night.